Hey there, it's Ben from patternprofits.net. I wanted to bring you a quick kind of tutorial on fundamental analysis and how I use it in my trading. The buys and sells are based on the technicals, but always good to have an idea of the fundamental backdrop in anything you're trading so that you know the wind may be in your sails or if it's blowing against you. If you're using TrendSpider, the C in CanSlim, current quarterly EPS growth. We're usually looking for 25% or higher. I have Amazon here as an example just because it's an easy one to use. Earnings down here on the bottom on TrendSpider, that comes from the events tab up here. You hover over it and you'll see 1579 was the last quarter, what they reported, and it tells you that that's a 215% increase over the same quarter of the prior year. Again, what you're looking for, traditional CanSlim is 25% plus growth. The higher the better, and I also like to see acceleration. We'll get more into that. If you're using MarketSmith, though they make it easy too, the numbers are right there on the bottom. You can see quarter to quarter, and it's comparing to the previous year, 118%. There's that 215%, like we just mentioned. The acceleration, you can see here, you go from 97 to 192, drop back a little bit to 118, then back to 215. Love to see this accelerating. I'll get more into that a little bit later as well. And then when the A in CanSlim is annual EPS growth. Same thing, you're looking for 25% plus. That number's over here where we went from 41.83 to 55.22 for this year. That's a 30% increase. Little green arrow means that those estimates are on the rise. 2022, you see 72.24 estimate, 31% increase. Again, the little green arrow shows they're on the rise. So quarterly down here, annual over here. These estimates are available throughout, whether it's Koifin, Yahoo Finance, Zacks, Simply Wall Street, Y Charts. These estimates, Finviz. If you're not in a product that you're paying for, like TrendSpider or MarketSmith, it's available. There's no excuse not to research and find those numbers. For example, this is Koifin. Here's the same numbers we talked about on a quarterly basis, $55 on a yearly annual basis. It gives you the growth. Here's looking ahead. These are the quarterly estimates and the annual estimate looking ahead, and 32% growth. Here's a great chart too of why we look at those estimates and why earnings per share is so important. If you zoom out, this is a 5-year chart. You're looking at the big picture. These earnings per share is the blue line, and then the chart itself, a price action, the black line. You can see that in the big picture, price tends to follow those earnings numbers. Also, I often like to look ahead. This is Simply Wall Street, and they have estimates sometimes, like for Amazon in this case, out to 2025. Gives you future growth forecasts and estimates, both in revenues and earnings. You can also zoom in on the data here, and you can see the number of analysts that give you estimates for 21, 2022, 2023, 24, 25. That's all there. The high estimate, the low estimate, and the number involved. So again, the information is out there. There's really no excuse to not be at least aware if there's something that you're in and trading. This is Finviz, same thing. Those numbers are here. Earnings per share for the current quarter, next year, next 5-year average growth estimates, past 5 years growth. So again, those numbers are out there. Additionally, my focus list, I focus also on the revenue growth. That's the number down here. When we're looking at those sales numbers, again, I like to see acceleration, and I have it set to 30% plus as far as quarterly growth goes. And the reason, we sometimes will look at the sales number and revenue growth is some of these young companies, they don't have earnings yet. Earnings are negative. So we'll look to that revenue growth. For example, let's say, well, apps, they're positive, but I want to show you, what revenue acceleration and what earnings acceleration looks like. If you're looking at their earnings, the last 4 quarters went from 60 plus 67% growth to 160% to 200% to 320% growth. That's the acceleration. I'm usually looking over 3 to 4 quarters and looking for that type of acceleration. They did the same thing on the revenue side, going from 45 to 93 to 116 to then 146. So that's the kind of acceleration that we like to look for. Of course, that has to match up with the action in the charts. If we take a look at another one, a recent IPO, Cricket, CRCT, this is another one showing monster numbers, great revenue growth, EPS growth, also excellent, and acting very well. That's the combination that we want to see. Just fundamentals alone won't always tell you the whole story. For example, if we look at Coin, again, great numbers, and the revenue numbers look great. Earnings, EPS acceleration, the quarterly numbers, all triple digits across the board, but the chart looks like this. Now, whether that's because you have great growth on an annual basis this year at 803 and 390%, going from $1.64 last year to $8 plus this year, but looking ahead, next year you're looking at $5 and a decrease of 37%. Keep watching those estimates. They're on the rise, but this is the type of chart which shows that you can't just rely on fundamental analysis alone, because the fundamentals here look great, but the chart straight down. So just a general overview of kind of how I use fundamental analysis on the backdrop of the stocks that I'm trading. Hope this helps, and I will see you guys over on FinTwit.